I have messed up. I've made a mistake here in Raid, and while it's not an account altering mistake under other circumstances, it could have been. And so I am very frustrated because as a free to play player and a content creator, I pride myself on executing at an extremely high level. That's how I am able to succeed here at Endgame as a free to play player. That's also how I build my account in order to provide you with the free to play content that I make here on YouTube. So I'm going to walk you through this mistake because I think it could be a beneficial lesson to many of my viewers, both in how to potentially avoid these kinds of mistakes and then simultaneously how to recover from a mistake afterwards. What do you do next? I haven't done the next thing yet. I haven't even decided what the next thing is going to be because I wanted to do that in real time with you so that this could potentially benefit somebody else, because that'll make me feel a little bit better about my mistake, that at least it's helping the community, even if there's nothing that I can do about it now. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do in today's video. I hope that's interesting to you and you stick around for it. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends imperfectly, but moving on. Let's get started. Let me start by explaining my mistake so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I decided to pursue the 5-star Artor Split Soul right from the get-go in the Community Week's Titan event. So this was a reward I was targeting, and I knew, of course, like we all know, that there are only 1,750 Titan points available in this event, and that you have to get 1,500 of them in order to earn the 5-star soul. Now, you don't necessarily have to make up your mind about going for the final reward at the beginning. You could certainly back off of it along the way, but if you don't at least account for the possibility, these 5-star souls are relatively difficult to obtain. So again, the big thing here is the 1,750 points, and I'm going to show you how I messed this up. So a few nights ago, I was playing Raid very late. I hadn't gotten to play at all during the day. I was behind, and I was trying to make sure I was completing the events that I needed to complete. I was tired, and I knew the baby was going to be up in a few hours, and I was going to be on baby duty the next day for like 10 hours straight, alone, no help. I knew that was coming. So I was thinking to myself, I need to get some sleep. And there was an event. I don't remember what the event was. It might have been the champion training, or it might have been a dungeon divers. But there was an event that still had 100 points, 100 Titan points in the event. And I decided to opt out because I knew that event was going to take probably somewhere in the vicinity of like 90 minutes to 2 hours for me to complete. And I just didn't want to lose that sleep. I was like, I'd rather get 2 more hours of sleep and be available tomorrow for my son and just, try to be as good a dad as possible. And so I was going to skip out on these 100 points. Now, I don't regret that decision. I think that was a good decision for my life and for my family and all that. So I don't want to say that. But what I could have done is planned better, right? Because it's not like that champion training event or whatever it was just that day. I could have completed it the night before when I had more time to play. I have a tendency to leave things until the last minute here in game so I get as much information as possible in terms of how to spend my resources. But I had kind of not planned properly. And as a result, I was very short on time and I was very short on sleep. And I just decided, you know what? I have 250 points. I know I have 250 points that I can give away. And this is only 100. So I'm still going to have a 150 point buffer to get my 5-star soul. But I had forgotten when making that decision that this champion chase tournament was coming down the line. And we suspected already, we knew this was coming, that this tournament was likely to be 200 or 250 points. I knew that. I forgot it. And this is where the mistake really got compounded. Because when this event launched, I looked at the point distribution here, and you can see we have 50 points at the bottom. And then we have these 200 Titan points up at the 4,200 tournament point tier. Well, that's a problem, because I can't get the 5-star soul without these 200 points. I've already skipped 100 points. And if I skip these 200 points, I will have missed out on the 5-star soul by 50 Titan points. And this is where the frustration set in, because I put myself in this situation. So I have to now make a choice. I have to decide whether or not I want to go for these 200 Titan points, or whether I am going to accept the fact that I made a mistake and simply get the 4-star soul and miss out on the 5-star soul. Now, you might say, well, that's an easy decision. Just go for it. This is a Champion Chase tournament. There's a 2x Ancient Shard event going on. Like, just go get it, right? And normally I would say yes. However, the way I've been playing my account for the past probably year or so is that I use Ancient Shards for like all of these events. I use them for fusion events. I use them for Decks of Fate. I use them for, Heroes Paths. I don't really care about the 2x Ancient Shard events anymore because my roster is massive. And it's like, there are very, very few champions in this game that I could pull from Ancient Shards that would move the needle at all. There's one. There's Kymar. That's it. Really, there aren't really any other non-void legendary or mythical champions that are going to make a significant impact on my roster. And in fact, even Kymar would only move the needle a little bit. It'd be nice to have. I'd love to move the needle that little bit. But as a result of my roster situation, I basically don't value Ancient Shards. So normally in the 6 weeks between Ancient Shard 2x events, I would be able to collect anywhere from say 80 to like 110 Ancient Shards, depending on how actively I pursued them and sort of, some of the RNG in this game. But I only have 47 today. 47 will not get me to the 4,200 point total for the Champion Chase tournament. Now, I do have some things that are helping me out. I have a Remnant Summons. I know that that's going to be a guaranteed 250 points at least, and it could be a lot more. And then, of course, I have all of the Fragment Summons that I have in my portal. But here's the thing. As a free-to-play player, you want to use your resources as wisely as possible. And we have a PRCVC that is coming in just like 3 days, I guess, on Tuesday night. Really, it's Monday morning for me. Wednesday morning for me. So, like, I want to pull my Lammasu, but she's going to be worth a whole ton of points during the PRCVC. So I don't necessarily want to dig into these champions too much for this Champion Chase. Now, if it was a fusion event, maybe I would, because then I'd get the champion and it could be a very powerful champion. But this is a 5-star soul for what I think is really not a valuable champion for my roster. Like, I'm going to get this champion. He's going to be fine. Like, we could take a look at him. He's a fine champion. Like, I've got no problem with this champion. But I think he's more of a progressive champion. He's got an AoE A1. I like that. I think he has the potential to be a solo champion. I don't know. Right? The increase attack, strengthen, and fills a turn meter by 15%. Very nice skill. Really powerful in the early game, in arena, and other places. He's got a revive. Having a reviver, for every faction is incredibly important. It's a good revive, by the way. It's not a phenomenal revive, but it's a good revive. And then, we've got this passive that makes the revive a little bit better. And of course, he's got this aura for arena battles, which I'm like, yeah, he's an arena champion, but he's like a classic arena champion. And my classic arena is fine. I'm not going to use this guy in live arena. I'm not going to probably even use him in 3v3 arena. So decent stats, decent champ, 5-star soul would be beneficial, but I already have the 4-star soul. Remember, I'm not going from a no soul to 5-star soul. I'm going from a 4-star soul to a 5-star soul if I complete this event. So is that worth it? If this were Newt, if this were the Newt fusion, or if this were, maybe a really, really, like if this were Thor, if this were a really good damage dealer and I wanted to get to that 5-star soul, yeah, that would be worth pulling some extra shards, digging in, whatever. But for this champion, is it worth it? My gut tells me no. It doesn't really matter. A 4-star soul is going to be totally fine on this guy. I don't need the 5-star soul. Would it be beneficial? Sure. Probably the most likely place that's going to help me is in Cintranos, and that's maybe it. That's maybe the only place that it's going to help me, the difference between the 4-star soul and the 5-star soul. And then I have to calculate what are the resources that I would have to actually spend here. So let's say I spent all 47 Ancient Shards and I was still 1,000 points short. That would be 2 legendaries that I would have to pull out of my fragment collector, which would be 40,000 PRCVC points that I could get. That's a big deal. Or I have to start pulling other shards. Now, I have the mystery shards. I could spend 1,000 mystery shards and go and get it that way. And that wouldn't be too painful. I mean, you can do that relatively quickly these days, especially on PC. I'd have to clean out space a lot and I'd have to use those. But, I could do that. I could do that. It would kind of ding my mystery shard total in, if I were struggling with resources, if they came out with like a guaranteed champion that I wanted to go after, and then I got the fusion was really good. It's like, but I might be skipping this next fusion anyway. We'll have to talk more about that in another video. So I probably have time to rebuild my mystery shards. So here's the thing. I think I can probably do it with my remnant summon. I could have saved my remnant summon for the PRCVC, but I could do my remnant summon. I would probably just do my ancient shards first and then see how close I got. That's it. So I think the lesson here, is to assess your resources carefully, determine what you would have to spend in order to go for the next reward, and also judge how valuable that reward really is. Like, I've got the 4-star soul. What else am I going to be missing out on? Anything? Am I going to miss out on anything? I mean, there's a mythical skill tome here at 1450, which I can still get without going for that 200 points. So I'll get the 5-star chicken, I'll get the barrel, the mythical chaos ore, and the mythical skill tome. I'll get literally everything except the Artor split soul if I just complete all of the events that are currently in the game. And most of those are going to be pretty easy for me. Like, if I just think about it, it's like, okay, maybe, because I could back off. I could not do the Fire Knight turn attack. I think this has a triple regen right now, though. So I kind of want to go after some regen gear. So this is just a good triple dip for me. Champion Chase tournament. And it is a triple dip, right? Because it's the gear, the turn attack tournament, and the Titan points for the Titan. So it is a triple dip. Champion Chase tournament, that's the one that we're talking about. So that would be the one that I'm skipping. The Fusion warm-up event, I'm going to complete anyway. So that's just 20 points. It's not a big deal. And then the Dungeon Divers event. So I could skip this Dungeon Divers event. But since I've already done some of it. And since I'm doing the Fire Knight tournament anyway, I'm probably just going to complete these and get these points. There's an ancient shard there. I should probably do that first. But so there's really not a lot to skip and save on. I'm going to get the 1450 points, which means I also have to pull some shards to get the 50 points in the Champion Chase tournament, because that would be for the mythical skill tome, and mythical skill tomes are worth it, right? So I have to get these 50 points. So I'm going to pull at least some ancient shards. So I think what I'm probably going to do, then this is the way I'm going to work my way through it. I'm going to start by pulling some ancient shards and just see how it goes. I'm not in Mercy or anything, so it's just going to be a regular 2 times. Probably pull, 20, 30, 40 shards. See how it goes. Reassess my point total. And then decide whether or not I'm all in for the 4,200 points. I think that's where we go. Now, you have to stay strong in these moments, because if the pulls go against me, I really need to back out. I need to say, I'll take the 50 points and I'm not going for the 5-star soul. And that takes some self-restraint. That really does. And that's probably the most important quality of a high-level free-to-play player. Like, if you really want to perform at the highest level of free-to-play, you don't have to just be efficient. You don't have to just be patient. You also have to exercise self-control when things go against you. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. But we are going to see, how it plays out. There's no problem spending these resources, by the way. Like, up to this point, if I'm not digging into my fragment collector, or if I'm not digging into some other shards, I'm still getting value. I'm still getting 2 times sacred ancient shards. I'm still getting all of the rewards on the Titan, Titan event. And that mythical tome is a significant reward. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Now let's go ahead, I guess, and turn this into a shard pull video. All right. I gotta get out of my frustrated mode, get into some positive space here, and just hope that we do decently. I've got plenty of room in my roster, so I can just go ahead and pull all 47 if I want. I think what I'll do is I'll just start with some 10 pulls. Normally I would do the 7 first and then the 10 pulls, but I think I'm just going to do some 10 pulls, see where we go. I'm going to hold on to the remnant summon for now, just see if I'm going to need to spend that. And by the way, if you saw that I already have some points in the Champion Chase, it's because I got a Prism shard. I got one of these things, and I forgot to pull it. Like, I forgot that it was going to be done before I recorded this video, and I got an epic. I got a copy of Hatatsu was actually my +4 Hatatsu. So that's why I have some points here, and then a couple of mystery shards. But all right, let's go ahead and do a 10 pull and hope for Kymar. If I just got a Kymar, I could stop and just call it a win. But all right, epics are good. We want to see a lot of epics, if possible. 3 epics. Nice. They're not great epics. 4 epics, 2 knight errants. None of these champions matter, but that is 1,000 points. We're over 1,000 points already. So that was a really good 10 pull. And if I stay on a pace like that and don't get blue taxed, then I definitely have a chance to go and get that 5-star soul. Love star. Ooh, Ugo. I think that's going to be my +4 Ugo. So good work on the epic so far. One more. All right. Still, that's decent. That's what I want to see. I want to see at least 2 for every 10 pull. So we're somewhere around 1,700 +2. We're closing in on 2,000 points right now. So let's see. If we could get a legendary, that would definitely speed up the process. We're starting with epic. Ooh, we're doing good with the epics. So this is going to help me erase some of my pain here. 3 epics, 4 epics. All right. Duke the Pierce is good. Annex is already +4 for me. But Duke is going to be now, I think, a +2 or a +3. So let's go check the points right now, because I actually think we're in striking distance, and I might get lucky. Now, sometimes you get lucky. I don't often get lucky in Raid Shadow Legends with this kind of stuff, but every once in a while, you know, the RNG goes your way. So let's see where our point total is. So we're at 2962. We only have to get to 4,200. We have 17 more ancient shards. So if we stay on the pace that we're on, we're going to be fine. If I have to, maybe I just use that remnant summons, and that might get me over the top. Or I could just go to mystery shards. It feels like it's not going to be awful with mystery shards. It can still get blue taxed, you know, it can still happen. But let's go ahead and do another 10 pull. And if we get like 3 or 4 epics here, then we're good. Then we're going to get that. Ooh, legendary. Come on. Moto of the Peel. That's cool. I think he was the fusion. Was he the fusion? No, he was the partner of Esme who I didn't complete. I didn't complete Esme. And that's unfortunate because he would be the duo. But still, even without any epics here, this is worth 2 epics. So pretty good to get a new legendary champion. Let me know if you have this guy and you use him. How good is he? Because it's been a while since I've looked at his kit. And I kind of remember that I felt like he was the better of the 2 champions. And, you know, obviously he'd be better with Esme. But so that's cool. That's cool. We got a new legendary. And so we're getting close. I think we'll pull the last 7 shards and see how we fall in terms of epics. So if I get like 2 epics here, I'm good. If I get 1 epic, I'm probably still good. I'll just do mystery shards. I don't have to pull my remnant summon, so I'll probably hold it. Here we go. Horrible, horrible epic, but you know, 250 points. So I'll probably save my remnant summons for the CVC. So it worked out for me this time, I think. If I get 1 more epic, it definitely will have. Meat Carver Tolog, excellent rare. I actually have him already built to 5 stars. Give me 1 more epic. We've got 2 shards left. Come on, 1 more epic. 1 more epic. Last shard. Save me a whole bunch of mystery shards. Nope. Okay. But it feels like I'm probably in a pretty good situation here in terms of mystery shards. Champion Chase Tournament. 3,800 points. I know I'm going to get 1 more ancient shard from the Fusion warm-up event. We still have another day on this 2 times ancient shard event. Would have been nice to hit the boosted summons guy. He was a faction. There's a faction unity champion in there. I think he's from the Sylvan Watchers. Would have been nice, but here we are. Here we are. 3,800 points. So that means I'm going to have to pull some mystery shards, but it's worked out for me. And as a result, I don't have to waste any extra resources. And if this had worked really badly, let's say I got blue taxed a bunch of times and I didn't get the epics that I wanted, and I was, say, at like 2,200 points, I would just chalk that up to a miss. I would just chalk that up to a miss and say I'm going to go with the 4-star soul, and that's it. I'm not going to pull 2,000 mystery shards to go from a 4-star soul to a 5-star soul on a champion that I'm only going to use in 1 piece of content. I'm just not going to do it. Again, if it was a Newt or, you know, if it was an Armons or somebody, like, yeah, that would be worth the difference between the 4 and 5-star soul. But in this particular case, it's just not. It's just not. So, that's a weight off my chest. The mistake isn't going to make me miss out on the 5-star soul, which makes me feel a little bit better. I'm still frustrated with myself over making the mistake, and I hope that that changes my behavior in the future, that maybe when I know that I've got baby duty in a couple of days, I will just complete events and tournaments for like a Titan event or a Fusion event like earlier on. Like I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. I'm trying to wait to be super efficient, but if I miss out, then the efficiency doesn't matter, right? The mistake overrides the efficiency. And so I want to prevent those mistakes in the future. That's my lesson for today. I hope I take it to heart. I hope it's helped you out in some way. Let me know in the comments below what you think. What do you think about my mistake? Is it going to help you model maybe more effective gameplay for yourself in the future? Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, that is it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Cole Red. I will see you in another video soon.